Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are here. It is the month of November, and we are talking about challenges within the classroom. And today specifically, we're going to talk about challenging behavior. Very specifically, work refusal. Now, if you are a teacher or you've been in a classroom or anything, you know that work refusal is just wicked annoying. Like it's so annoying. Anytime I try to plan something, there's always, maybe sometimes, a kid that just doesn't want to do it. They might throw the papers on the floor. They might rip the paper in half. Even some of them, sometimes they bolt out of the room, or they just have a big, massive behavior or aggression because they don't want to do the work. And it's annoying, but if you really look deeper, there's a lot more to it than just trying to be bad. We're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk about some tips that might help within the classroom for work refusal. Now, if you're a special ed teacher like me, or you're a general ed teacher, it is annoying. And whether you're trying to keep your whole classroom running smoothly, or you're a special ed teacher and you're just trying to meet some IEP goals, and this kid is just refusing everything. There are so many things we can try to do to minimize it. I want to add that some of these ideas are not mine. Some of these ideas I've learned at conferences, I've learned from other people that I work with, or I've just seen in classrooms all over the place. And I've really tried to keep them, write them in a list, so that we can help as many people as possible, you know? And as I go along, I'm going to say some tips, but if you have more tips that you'd like to add, or there are specific things that you do within your classroom, please comment below. And I'm not saying that for myself. I'm saying that because as people watch this, I want them to be able to read down below. So, number one, get your emotions out of the way. If you plan the most beautiful lesson and you have the best activities, you've got the most integrated, project-based, inquiry-based beautifulness, and then a kid refuses to do it, it can actually kind of sting. Like, you just put so much time into this lesson or into this day, and a kid just refuses to do it. It can feel personal, and your emotions can start to bubble up to the surface. I've seen, teachers where the kid just refuses to do work and they throw it on the floor and they get all stubborn and they say no. I've seen teachers start to yell at kids, or just start to, get really upset, or bring their emotions into it, or clearly show on their face that they're angry or they're sad or whatever it may be. That isn't going to work. And it might actually even make the kid refuse more because they're not really interested in your stuff in the moment. There might be other reasons why they're refusing. They might really have trouble with the academic piece of it. There might be this fear of reading aloud. There might be a fear of working with a partner because they don't know if they could communicate appropriately. There might be an issue with their writing and they don't want to admit it. The page might just look too overwhelming, and they might just be kind of scared and not even want to take a look at it. Or if it's an activity or a craft or a group project, it just might seem too overwhelming. There are so many other reasons as to why a kid refuses work besides the fact that they want to stick it to you. I think going along with number one, number two would be to kind of avoid ultimatums at all cost. What I mean by that is when your emotions are high and you're just talking quickly and you're not taking a moment to think before you talk, you might start to give the kid an ultimatum. If you don't do this work, you will not get whatever, right? Or you might start taking stuff away from them, or whatever, giving them some big ultimatum. I'm going to call your mom, you're going home, or whatever. Those big, loud ultimatums don't work. And my boss says it the best. She's like, you're going to waste your energy. You're going to waste your breath. Are you really going to get in an argument with this kid over a worksheet? Does that even matter, right? I think the next thing is when you're setting up your classroom and you're building in your classroom management style, I know a lot of teachers at the beginning of the year, they start thinking about, how am I going to manage this? How am I going to manage this? How am I going to keep all the kids on task? What is my strategy? What is my style of management? I think you need to build in some sort of contingency plan or system in place for kids who refuse to do work. What I mean by that is, it shouldn't come as a surprise to you. And if a kid refuses to do work and you feel flustered, then you clearly haven't organized your behavior management fully appropriately. Maybe you have to hold the kids accountable. Maybe there is a system in place. If they refuse to do work, where does that work go so that they can do it later, right? Or if they refuse to do work, what is your plan on talking to their parents? Is there a protocol or a rule or a routine to put that work maybe for homework, or to put that work to the side so that they can do it at a later time? I think thinking ahead of all these things and not being surprised when work refusal does happen. If you've seen in any of my videos, for me, when a kid refuses to do work or they're having a behavior, I have a place in my classroom where I put the work with them, and I also put in a routine card of what it looks like to do your work silently, independently, or with a group, and we talk about it and we go through the rule of it. The kids will, in my classroom at least, they have to make up their work at another time. I hold them accountable, and my whole school does this. They might have to do 5 minutes for recess. They might have to do some of their work. They might have to do 5 minutes of it during another preferred activity when the other kids are about to do something fun, like computers or whatever, or toys or whatever it may be. They know that in order to do those fun things, they have to make up their work, and they know that I'll hold them accountable and they can't get away with it. And I think whatever works best in your classroom, you need to have a plan set up to hold them accountable for the work that they're missing or the work that they're refusing to do, right? I think also to think, what is the end goal? A lot of times when a kid refuses to do work, we freak out, right? And we don't even know what to do next. A lot of times for me or for people in my school, we look at the kid and we just say, okay, you don't want to do the work right now? That's fine. I'll take the work away from you. You sit down, you take a break, not a real break, you know what I mean? But you sit, collect yourself, because clearly this is tricky, and when you're ready, let me know and I will help you with it. But if you don't want to do it, it'll be waiting for you, and you'll do it at a later time. When all your friends are doing computer, you will do your work. It's easy, calm, simple, and you know what? 99% of the time, the kid is like, oh no, never mind, I'll do my work. Or if they're really stubborn, they're like, I don't care, I won't do it. Well, then we get to computer time and they're like, dang, I want to do computer, but I have 2 worksheets waiting for me that I did not complete. So think about what you would like to do. Those are some of the tips specifically for holding kids accountable. I also think, this sounds kind of weird, but think about really what's most important in your classroom. For example, do I want all my kids to learn? Yes. Do I want them to feel like they're in a comfortable, safe environment? Yes. Do I want them to feel like they're engaged and that they're excited? For sure. If a kid does not do their work and they refuse it and they rip it up, or they throw it to the ground, or they roll on the floor or whatever, if I start yelling and they start arguing back and I'm having this like tug of war issue with them, what is it doing to the rest of the kids in my classroom, right? Is it contributing to the culture that I want to have in my class? Or is it taking away from the culture that I want to have in my class? And when I really think about that, and then I think about how the behavior of ripping a paper up to me isn't that big of a deal, it becomes less of a fight and more of a smaller deal. More of like a, okay, you'll do it later, and right now you don't get to do the fun thing that your friends are doing, right? Stuff like that. And I think, how big of a behavior do we want? If we're going to argue with them, it's only going to make the behavior bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And what are we doing? So that might have sounded very vague, but I think if you've ever been in situations where a kid has refused work, I actually think you'll understand what I'm saying and understand where I'm coming from. If you have more tips for work refusal, please let us know down below, because other people watch this. There are currently college students who are trying to be teachers that watch this. There are experienced teachers, general ed, special ed, paraprofessionals. There are principals, homeschooling parents. All types of people are watching this channel. They're messaging me and emailing me about what they're learning from this channel, and specifically what they're learning from the comments from you guys. Not just me. I don't know that much. You guys know so much more. So please comment below more tips, more things you found for work refusal, and I would love to start a nice conversation and a nice dialogue down in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, bye!